These are the solutions to paper 5 in the 8-week revision plan, Foundation Tier, which is the 6th of November 2012, paper 1, non-calculator. Question 1, a car manufacturer sells 6,583 cars. Write down the number in figures. So that would be 6583. Part 2, the weekly sales for a local newspaper are 13,406. We have to write the number in words. 13,406. Then we have to add together 85 and 97. 85 plus 97. If you can't do it in your head, use the column method. 5 and 7 makes 12. 8 and 9 makes 17. Plus the one that we carried over is 182. For part C, we have to find 428 minus 119. Again, use the column method if you can't do it in your head. 8 take away 9 we can't do because 9 is bigger than 8. So we borrow from the 2, making a 1 and carry the 1 over to make 18. 18 take away 9 is 9. 1 take away 1 is nothing. And 4 take away 1 is 3. For part D, we have to write down a multiple of 8 that is between 70 and 79. If it's a multiple of 8, that's a number in the 8 times table. And the number in the 8 times table between 70 and 79 is 72. For part E, we have to write 8,736 to the nearest 10. So that means we need to cut off after the tens position, which is there. We look at the number after. If that number is 5 or bigger, it tells us to round up. So the final answer would be 8,740. For part 2, correct to the nearest 100 means we now have to cut off the number after the hundreds position. We look at the number after, which is a 3. As that's less than 5, we round down. So that would be 8,700. For part F, we've got to write down the factors of 16, which means all the numbers that go into 16. And those are 1, 2, 4, 8 and 16. So they must go into 16 with no remainders. For question 2, we've got to find the value of the 8 in the number 18,623. That means the place value of the 8 in that number, which is thousands. So that will be 8,000. B, write down a square number that is less than 100 with a tens digit of 8, and that would be 81. And the reason that's a square number is because 9 times 9 is 81. For C, Tom has a £10 note and a £5 note. He buys 10 packs of cards with £1 left over. We've got to find the cost of 1 pack of cards. If he's got a £10 and a £5 note, that means he's got a total of £15. He spends his money with £1 left over, so he must spend £14 altogether. And he spent that £14 on 10 packs of cards. To find the cost of 1 pack, we need to do a division. 14 divided by 10. So every pack of cards costs £1.40. For D, for the percentage that are black, well, there are 8 counters altogether, or 8 discs rather altogether. 2 of them are black. So that would be 2 out of 8, or 2 over 8 as a fraction. If we cancel that down by dividing the top and the bottom by 2, that gives us a quarter. And a quarter as a percentage is 25%. Part E, showing all the working, find an estimate for the value of 74.6 times 99.7. If we're estimating, we need to round the numbers, and we round them to make them as easy as possible to work with. So we round 74.6 to 70, a nice easy number that's close to 74.6. And then we round 99.7 to 100. Multiply your new rounded numbers, and that gives you 7,000. For part F, we have to find the smallest prime number that's greater than 20. A prime number only has 2 factors, 2 numbers that go into it, and that number would be 23 because only 1 and 23 go into 23. For question 3, we have a formula for finding the profit for selling printers, which is the number sold times 24 minus the outlay. To find the profit, we have to substitute the number sold by 20 and the outlay by 150. So profit would be the number sold 20 times by 24 minus the outlay of £150. When we subtract 150 from that answer, that gives us a total of £330 profit. On another occasion, the profit is £180 and the number sold is 10. We've got to find the outlay. So this time we're substituting the profit with 180, the number sold with 10, but we don't know the outlay. Work out any multiplications or any part of the calculation you can. So we know 10 times 24 would be 240. And now we've got to subtract the outlay. So we've got to work out what number we need to subtract from 240 to give 180. The only number we can subtract is 60. So therefore the outlay is £60. For question 4, we have to write down the special name of each of the following figures. The first 3D shape is a cone. The second 2D shape has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides, so that will be an octagon. And the final shape is a pyramid and it's got a square base, so that would be a square-based pyramid. And you have to say that it's square-based pyramid, wouldn't be enough. For part B, we've got to label the parts of the circle. The first part of the circle going from edge to edge through the centre is the diameter. The second on the outside of the circle, touching the circumference at one point, is the tangent. And finally, the line that's inside the circle, touching 2 points on the circumference, not going through the centre this time, is the chord. For part C, we have to draw on all the lines of symmetry in the following patterns. For the first pattern, there are 3 lines of symmetry. These are your mirror lines. So once you've drawn your lines of symmetry on, or your mirror lines on, you must check that you've got exactly the same shape on both sides of the mirror line. So here's one line of symmetry or mirror line, and I've got exactly the same shape above it as I have below it. There are 2 more mirror lines, one here and one here. For the second shape, there are 2 lines of symmetry. There's one line of symmetry horizontally through the middle of the shape and another line of symmetry straight down. Again through the middle of the shape, a vertical line. For question 5, we've got 3 identical rectangles, 10 by 2 centimetres, making the shape in the diagram. We've got to find the perimeter. The perimeter is the distance around the outside of the shape. Now 2 of the lengths are marked on, but no others are. So to find the perimeter, we need to mark on all other lengths. It tells us that every rectangle is identical. So this side here must be 10 centimetres, this 2, this 10, this one 10, this one 2, this one 10, and this one 2. We don't know the length here, but I do know that all the way across the length is 10. That bit's 2 and that bit's 2. So this bit here in the middle must be 6. I then add all the lengths together. So I do 10, add 2, add 10, add 2, and so on. And once I've added all lengths together, I get a perimeter of 64 centimetres. For the area of the shape, I need to find the area of each of my rectangles and add them together. But all of the rectangles are identical. So once I've found the length of 1, I can just multiply by 3 to find the total. To find the area of 1, I need to multiply the length by the width, which would be 10 times 2 centimetres. And because I've got 3 of those rectangles, I multiply the answer by 3. So my answer would be 60. Notice here they tell you to write down the units of the answer. That means that the third mark is for writing down the units. And the units of area here would be centimetres squared. For number 6, this is our QWC question. So we're given an extra 2 marks for the quality of our written communication, 1 mark for how well we set the maths out, and another for our writing, making sure our spelling, punctuation and grammar are correct. It says that Year 11 pupils have been asked to estimate the cost for each pupil to go to a concert. There are 98 pupils. A packed lunch costs £3.95. The total cost of the tickets is £915 and the bus costs £290. We've got to estimate the cost per pupil to the nearest pound. If we're estimating, we're rounding. So we need to round 98 first of all to 100. the easiest number to work with that's close to 98. We round £3.95 to £4, because that's a nice easy number close to £3.95. 915 to 900, and 290 to 300. Then we have to find the total